What's up, everybody? What's up? And welcome back to On the Warpath. It's your boy Sanchez 405 with you. If you're new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button. You hit that bell so you get notifications anytime there's new content posted. As always, like, comment, share this video out because you know what we do here, family. We talk about the Washington Commanders all the time, and we got down to the 53-man roster. We got down to the nitty and gritty. And the next time our boys take the field, it is going to be live bullets. Let's take the glasses off here too, because y'all know I can't see. I can't see nothing anyway, but I feel a bit more comfortable. What's up, Anthony Jones? Commanders for life. That's right. Left hand up, as our boys would say over there, DJ Woody O'Goody and Big 57. So shout out to those brothers too. I think they made a new video, so that's pretty cool. And we've had them on here before, but we got a lot to go over here today. And this will probably be the new time slot for the show, so you can always watch it or listen to it on Thursday. But this will be our Warpath Wednesday here at 9 o'clock here on the YouTube channel. Of course, we'll do the Monday After Pill starting September 11th. So that'll be fun right after Arizona Cardinals game, which there was some news that came out within the last few days. Colt McCoy was released, and now they're down to Josh Dobbs, who they just traded for, and then a guy who is a 5th-round pick. So a lot of interesting things there for the Arizona Cardinals. Some things coming out of the desert. The only thing I wonder is, now that they tank and throw this season to the Wolves, do they fire Jonathan Gannon at the end of the season like they did Steve Wilkes when they drafted Josh Rosen? And they said they're tanking for Caleb Williams, but it always seems like the Arizona Cardinals are always tanking for some quarterback. And it seems to work out for a little bit, but I think they met their match with Kyler Murray. So we take a look, but that's if we live in a glass house. We don't throw stones here, right? We just make observations, and we take a look at this 53-man roster that the Burgundy and Gold they announced yesterday at about 4 o'clock, what was also accompanied by a press conference by Ron Rivera and Martin Mayhew, as you can see in the thumbnail, where they look kind of homeless and they look a little sad, but that's okay. That's okay. This is what we expect out of them. It seems like Mayhew can't address large crowds without the fact that Ron has to be there behind. Let him be the general manager. And we know you're the boss. We know you're the football czar. But, when we look at it, I'll be honest with y'all, not a lot surprised me on this 53-man roster that they initially released on yesterday. I thought that the interesting takeaway was, as I'll share it here with you, the interesting takeaway was you did carry 7 wide receivers, but they also used the term that this is a very fluid situation. And okay, it's fluid. It's another buzzword that they're going to use. I think they use about 6 or 7 times in that presser. Let's see. There it is. As we take a look at this right here. We can't see that, so let me stop this real quick. And share screen. And let's see here. Boom. Share. Here we go. Now we can see it a lot better. So when with the 2 quarterbacks there, we kind of take this from spot on, spot off. 2 quarterbacks. We knew it was going to be Sam Howell, Jacoby Brissett. Although Jake Fromm made a push towards making himself available to possibly be QB3 and new rules. Well, an old rule that's been reintroduced where you can have the emergency quarterback who dresses out, but he doesn't count against the active day roster. And they've got so many situations because if the first two quarterbacks get hurt, he can go in there, but if one of them is cleared, he'd have to come out. Yada yada yada. It doesn't matter. Jake Fromm didn't make it. That wasn't a shock to me. A lot of people in social media realms, they were talking about, hey, it looks like he needs to be, he should be a little bit further or deeper on this. He should make this active roster. I mean, to be honest with you, Jake Fromm did good against 3s and 4s. Let's be honest. I know he did good against the Baltimore 3 and 4s, which sometimes can be 2s on other teams around the league because, they build that program. But I wasn't too hung up on him not making the roster. I expected him not to make the roster because typically there are 2 quarterbacks carried, right? We carried 2 in, we carried 3. What was it? Back in 2020. And then they activated Alex Smith because what do we have? We had Dwayne Haskins. Well, I know we actually hit 3 there, but Alex Smith on the pup. But we went through 4 because Heineke got added towards the end of the season. But you look at it, usually carrying about 2 quarterbacks in. Made sense. The running backs, I did this for Ref to District. This was my position, and I wasn't surprised. It did not surprise me that we were going to go with these 3 running backs. I did give a bonus to Alex Armour going in there at the fullback spot because they tended to use him a lot. But I knew it was not going to be good for Jared Patterson. I know Jared Patterson is the hometown hero. He's the hometown guy who you want on the team. I know our boy Juan Gotti's a big fan of him. Jalen from Bleeding Burgundy is good friends with him and everything. But at the end of the day, this running back room is loaded. It's loaded with talent. I think that you got B-Rob and Antonio Gibson. And then you add in Chris Rodriguez, which he did put the ball on the carpet against Baltimore. Yeah, I get that. But at the end of the day, Youngin has more upside than a Derek Gore who's 28. Jonathan Wings, I know they said liked him. They put him on IR, but he was more of like a special teams type guy. And he plays hard. Which, that who was Jared Patterson, who had that hell of a catch and run for a touchdown when they played Baltimore. Like, he didn't give up. He put the whole team on his back, literally. And, that was all for naught. And he didn't get signed back to the practice squad. And that's the end of that story. The wide receivers, I think the most surprising one on here is twofold. One, a positive, one's a negative. Mitchell Tinsley is making the roster after his big game against Cincinnati. And this was a guy that Jake Fromm had talked highly of. Listening to JP Finley's podcast with Mitch Tischler. And Jake Fromm was high on Mitchell Tinsley. Talk about, you can throw the ball up there. He's going to go get it. I think he's a good project there. You can shout and talk to Paulie about this. He wasn't the biggest fan of him, but I mean, it is what it is. Jahan Dayami, Kurt Samuel, Terry McLaurin, we knew they were going to make it. Dax Milne is our new Trey Quinn, I guess you could say, because he just keeps on making this roster. And I get it, but I don't get it. And why do I say I don't get it? Why I get it? I get you want somebody who's going to field the ball, but you settle. You settle for Dax Milne. You settle. That is settling right there. Now, he might give you some options in the passing game. He doesn't drop passes that are thrown directly to him. Oh, wait a minute. He did that in the Cincinnati game. I don't get it. Outside of football affirmative action, which is fine. That's cool. But it just seems like it's a cop-out to not getting a guy who can catch the ball and actually run with the ball and give you, especially in punts, to change field position. Kaz Allen had the speed, but he didn't have the hands. He was fielding the ball with two thumbs. That's why Kaz didn't make it, and we know why. But that's about it for the wide receivers. 4 tight ends, probably the most shocking here. Thought we were going to carry 3. Thomas Turner Bates. Curtis Hodges makes it in on this fluid 53-man roster. Good for him. But to me, and we haven't heard any reports about this, but it just kind of alludes to the health of Logan Thomas. Like, we've got to question this, boys and girls, a little bit more than what we have. I can't believe I didn't like this. I retweeted, but I didn't like it. There we go. Whoa, I did like it. Did I? Yeah, there we go. Now we like it. It's pink over there. Anyway, what's it say about Logan Thomas? Do I dare say that the guy is washed? I don't want to say that, but at this point, he's a shell of his former self. And when I say his former self, he's a shell of the 2020 Logan Thomas. The guy who caught a touchdown in 6 of our or 5 of our 7 wins that year. 6 of our 7 wins. And he hasn't been healthy since. He's still having these lower body issues. Of course, we know he was assassinated in Las Vegas back in 2021. And then they rushed him back. Not controversy. There's no kind to it. Horseshoes, hand grenades, right? They rushed him back. I was at the Jacksonville game. He looked slow. I was at the New York game. He looked slow. He looked like an old man with arthritis out there in the cold against the Giants. Looked terrible. The tight end spot gets as much attention as the linebacker spot does. And the offensive line spot. What a Juan Gotti. Not accepting less than a 20-point win week 1. I hear you. Hey, you know what? We should beat them boys within an inch of their life. I think 2 touchdowns is good. Kaz can't catch. He specializes in screen and that was another thing. Kaz didn't do a lot of special teams. So you're trying to take him and make him into something he hasn't really been. You want to position flex the hell out of him. At some point, you got to just be like, hey, this is what you are. You're an athlete. Let's just make you an athlete. Let's not position flex you into the 3rd string quarterback or the backup running back and everything like that. That's like when they were trying to make Antonio Gibson the feature back. You learned that he's not the feature back. He's a good accent. He's like, this is what we did. Ron Robinson is that ribeye steak. Antonio Gibson's the seasoning. And I'm not talking about Lowry's. I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about something. He is. He's at top shelf stuff, whatever it might be. But ain't no Lowry. Well, maybe Lowry's. We say he's Lowry's. He makes everything taste good. But you know what? If you put too much Lowry's on your food, what you gonna get? High blood pressure, cholesterol, sodium, all that stuff. You don't need all that crap. But you just need a sprinkle of it every once in a while. 5 to 10 shakes. Generously. Kind of like in Mrs. Doubtfire when he kind of seasoned the shrimp up to kill oh gosh, what's his name? Pierce Brosnan's character in there. And hey, that's what you gotta do. You gotta tap, 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 tap. Just a little bit. Tap, tap, tap. That's what Antonio Gibson said. He's the tap, tap. Tap, tap. Just a little bit. See, a little bit. He's like salt bake, just a little bit. Ron Robinson is the steak. He's the main course. That's what everybody comes for. Anyway, where are we going with that? What's up, Armand? Low might be done. Yeah. I think Chase is trade bait. See, why'd you jumping ahead? Armand, why are you jumping ahead? See, this is why we can't get nothing done here. You jump ahead, man. Is he trade bait with that stinger? That's another thing. They said this stinger, they're trying to get him cleared and everything like that. Are you going to trade? Why? And why would you trade assets for a guy who's at the end of his contract this year? I'm just with a team that has to re-sign, that has 3 key defensive free agents coming up in Sweat, Young, and Curl. Why would you do that? I'm just saying. I'm just thinking out loud here. See, and Armand likes Dax Milne. It possibly. Hey, I said this on Twitter, Marcus. What's up? That it was Ridgeway last year. This year it's Jabril Cox. I like him. I like it. You get finally the neglect that you had at linebacker. It seems that, and if this guy's healthy, right, because he tore his ACL back during his rookie year, I think you might have something here. Guy that played, he knows winning football. He played at LSU, North Dakota State, so he knows what it takes to be successful. Not in the pro level, but definitely at the college level. Teammates with the Dallas Cowboys' future starting quarterback, Trey Lance. He suffered, and this is like the second time he's kind of suffered the ACL. Dallas drafted him, fourth round pick. He was 10th out of that round, so I think pick 15. Good pick. Good size up for him. Anyway, let's get back to this roster here, and we'll get to the defense. I looked at the offensive line, which we know is let's be honest. I think you'd get less penetration out of low grade toilet paper, and I'm talking about paper, like paper thin, like that you put in your gift bags. Tissue paper, yeah, that tissue paper right there, the cheap stuff they used to do, that they give you at school, and when it was cold and you had to blow your nose on them rough tissues. That's what it is. Stromberg, thought he was gonna make it. People said something about Tyler Larson. I don't know. Maybe he'll come back, which he hindsight's 2020, right? He did come back. He definitely came back. He's they were signing him to the practice squad. Him and Alex Arma. Nick Gates, who I think is going to be a wild man out there. Andrew Wiley, Charles Leno. They're going to be your bookend tackles. They got to be healthy. They've all been dealing with nicks and bruises, both Wiley and Leno, throughout training camp in the preseason. So hopefully those cats get healthy. Trent Scott, who really wasn't that impressive, but who else you going to go with? Chris Paul. He's done playing basketball, and he decided that he's going to come and play with the Commanders. Wrong, Chris Paul. Sam Cosmi, who's moved into right guard, which I think that may be a plus for him. We've talked about that. Rogers talked about that on here before, that they need to move him to guard. He's more of a guard at this level. Look what's going on there. Sadisi Charles, the man who has more injuries in his one pinky finger than most people have in an NFL career. This dude has torn. He's probably hurt every ligament in his body. He's probably broken his MCL, his PCL, his AKA, his M16. It's everything. I don't know. And Cornelius Lucas, Old Faithful. They made the offensive line there. Our boy Mason Brooks got hurt. Got cut, but he's back on the practice squad. And then we look at the defense line, which we carry a lot of defense linemen here, bro. boys. Andre Jones, KJ Henry, the two rookies. Andre Jones had some. He was getting raved at, and the man looks like a football player. To quote one of John Gruden's emails, KJ Henry from Clemson, Montez, Casey Tua, James Smith Williams. The, people were talking in the media. I know that. I think it was Matt Paris and Ben Standig. I was listening to Standig's podcast, which is Standig Room only. Check it out. Um, they're not sponsoring anything, but it's good. It's good. Ben's very very intelligent. Casey Toohill may have been on the bubble, but they decided to keep him. And James Smith hyphen Williams, as Fred Smoot calls him, Effie Obata, and Chase Young. Also, your defense tackle John Ridgeway, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Fadarian Mathis. Fadarian Mathis just got placed on IR. Remember, he had a lower body injury. I think he tore his ACL in that first game against Jacksonville. So he's out again. And he also adds to something we'll talk about here later in the pod is what's with our second round picks. And we'll go back and we're gonna kind of go through and look at our second round picks and see where we've missed that since we'll say since 2008, because that's where it seems like it's kind of went downhill. Is are those picks? Linebacker Khaleke Hudson, he had a good camp. David, don't call me Miracle Whip Mayo. Jamin Davis, too fast, 50, too fast, too furious over there. And then Cody Barton, a newcomer, which it surprises me, y'all, to have a guy who was a pretty good linebacker in the NFL and Jack Del Rio, and then Ron Rivera, who's on that 85 Bears team. And then you've got a position coach as well, and Steve Russ, who I think Steve Russ should have been fired 2 or 3 years ago, that they cannot get the linebacker spot. And hell, not even right, but short up. That's the thing. You cannot get this short up with all that internal, all that, we call it at work, right? Like I work at a college, and the one thing that's great about my college, where I work at, is there's a lot of alums that work there. So there's a lot of what we like to call institutional knowledge. Let's do this with me here real quick. We'll take this off and then we'll bring it back. Let's do it with me. Do it with me, boys and girls. Let's call it institutional knowledge. Right. Yeah, anyway, you would think that there is some fortitude or some knowledge that these cats have that they can go out here and make these picks and get the right linebackers. Like, I'm sorry. On defense, in my trenches, I don't need choir boys. I need dogs. Now my offensive linemen, they can be a little intelligent if they need to be. Your center, he should be a Rhodes Scholar in road blocking or road grading. But the linebacker spot, it blows my mind that we can't get this right. Now I hope Khaleke Hudson proves to be valuable on there. He had a good game against Dallas at the end of the season. We talk about Sam Howell in that game. Khaleke Hudson had a good game. David Mayo, who Paulie is the president of his fan club, loves that move. Why is he still here? Don't know. We don't know. And I really don't know about James Davis. I know he's got another court appearance or something, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes from there. Cornerbacks, no surprise. For the most part, thank God, Wild Goose is gone. He didn't even get picked up. Emmanuel Forbes, St. Juice, the Canadian Arbor Mist, as I like to call him, Canadian whiskey. Kendall Fuller, who we haven't seen anything. He's been on the missing persons listing for a long. He's been on the milk carton, and old Sip Christian Holmes provides some help on special teams, a good special teams play. And then Danny Johnson easily makes the roster this year and didn't have to be put back on the stove or anything like that. Quan Martin makes it because he's a draft pick. He's going to make it. I know he struggled, and a lot of people hate on Quan Martin, and some of it's deservedly so. Now I'm not going to disagree with some of the hate that comes his way. Like he was like marking down everybody who like said something negative about him and liked it on the old X app or Twitter or whatever the hell they're calling it now. And I'm like, I guess it's like Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? He remembers everybody who was drafted in front of him. Derek Forrest, Cameron Curl, Percy Butler, Jeremy Reeves, our guys, the all-pro Jeremy Reeves, and then our special teams guys, Tressway, Joey Sly, Cam Treesman, and that rounds out your fluid 53-man roster. And, I like to call this cut day National Jag Appreciation Day, National Just a Guy Appreciation Day. And why do you say that, Corey? Why are you saying that these guys are you never played in the league? And you know what? I say they're just a guy because they're just like you and me. They are just like you and I. Nobody was claimed off of waivers once again who got cut by the burgundy and gold. Tell you that we should still be cutting that and grinding axe. That we still got work to do because people don't want our players yet. People still don't want our players. They don't want to pick up anybody. They wasn't afraid. Jared Patterson didn't get picked up. Kaz Allen didn't get picked up. These guys didn't get picked up. So everybody clear roster. Jake from State Farm didn't get picked up. And let's take a look at the practice squad. I gotta pick this phone up, yo. Hey, I'm live. Hey. Okay. I mean, we don't have to. I'm like live right now. Okay. All right. Love you. Bye. Bye. All right. Anyway, shout out to the missus. So practice squad. Oh, so Jake Fromm, Derek Gore, Bryson Tremaine, Kaz Allen, Alex Armour, my guy, Noah Laufenberg, Mason Brooks, Alex King Bulu, Jared Jones Smith, Benny Pateo, Dejon Harris, William Bradley the King, my guy who we drafted in the mock draft a couple years ago, Tyree Castro Fields, Nick Whiteside, and Terrell Burgess, Super Bowl champion Terrell Burgess, and then Jabril Cox, who we kind of just talked about as our guy in they got signed off of from the waivers from Dallas. So take a look here, and I talked about Ron and company meeting with the media yesterday, and didn't really get a chance to listen to a lot of it, but they kept on using the word fluid. The situation for the roster is fluid. It's fluid. I always say fluid is the word that fat guys like me say, well, you know what? I gained a little bit of weight. I got a little fluid on me right now. I gotta get that fluid off of me. Gotta get that fluid. Yeah. I think of fluid. I think of bodily waste, and so I didn't really. I was like, Ron, do you really want to be? Do you really want to be talking like that and using the word fluid like that? It's a real fluid situation. Like they asked, and they said Martin was the first to answer. Says how fluid is the initial roster at this moment? It says a very fluid process. There you go. There'll be a big waiver wire out tonight. Our pro department will be scouting that. We'll be looking through that. We're always getting better. What's up? Yeah, Ron should not do interviews. Yeah, we'll talk about that too. Bruce, shout out to Bruce Glass. What's up, man? Um, talk about Mitchell Tinsley. I thought was a good point. And Ron said the biggest thing with Mitchell, Mitchell was from day one. You just saw it was it whether it was gosh, he just oh my gosh, I feel bad for these people, the PR department. You saw it whether it was when we started back at OTAs on the rookie camps and all that stuff that we had, and then we saw it from the beginning of training camp, and it had just progressed and progressed and progressed. He was a young man that we really felt pretty confident about and about his growth and development. God, Ron, whew. I feel like Ron just overcorrects himself. They asked him about it, did it get is it easy cutting people? It says never gets easy to cut on releasing Tyler Larson and confidence in Ricky Stromberg. And Ron said, well, I think the biggest thing more than anything else is we like the position flex. There it is. There's that word, boys and girls. Position flex that the young man gives us. He's a solid, stout guy who we feel really good about right now. And as Martin stated to the question, this is fluid right now, and we're not done with anything potentially. What the hell does that mean? What's we got here? Chris Rodriguez talked about that. Here's one about on how valuable Eric Bieniemy's communication has been bringing in the right guys for the offense scheme. This is Mark Mayhew. Ron didn't answer this. Interesting. Mayhew says Eric has been great as far as communication of what he's looking for, different traits at different position. He did a really good job with the evaluation for our draft this year, and he's been helpful going forward. I mean, some of the guys that we picked up throughout the season, throughout the offseason, like Brian Pringle, who've been in Kansas City with Eric, identifying guys like Derek Gore. So Eric's really helpful with the personnel department. He's a really good evaluator. Obviously, a very good offensive coordinator. There you go. And Alex Arma, there's value having a fullback. And again, very fluid. He said again, there's a word, fluid situation right now. They kind of tipped their hat, said they were going to bring him back. And they did. They brought him back. And let's see here. What else we got? Anything else? Fedarian Mathis on his injury status. Again, we're not going to get in those type of things right now because, as Martin said, everything has to be fluid. They use the word. Let's just do this for fun. Let's see. Let's just shift. Yeah, I think so. Step share. Let's see. Shift F. Or is it Control F? Yeah, that's what it is, right? There it is. Fluid. Well, it won't let me find it. Anyway, what's up, Bruce? Yeah, I just they use that word fluid so many times in that update. But these are the guys we're gonna go to war with. I thought Fedarian Mathis, and kind of going back to Fedarian Mathis and our Washington draft. Let's see here. As we will go through and we'll look at our drafts here. And I'm going to take us back. Let's go to the year of our Lord where he messed. Yeah, I'm here, Roger. I mentioned you already too, bro. I mentioned you. I was thinking about you. You weren't thinking about me, but I was thinking about you, bro. Let's see here. Let's go to the year of our Lord, 2008. And why do we say 2008? Because you know why? That was my senior year of high school. And that's what You know what? That's what we want to do. But let's look at this and see how bad this has been. How not so fluid it's been. Broke the word fluid. Oh well, we can probably use the keyword of the day. Maybe that's why I should work into my broadcast to our live streams during the season. A word that I have to use, like shenanigans. Like if you ever seen Super Troopers, right? And they did the meow game. Maybe we do that. I don't know, but we'll see. So we look at 2008. Devin Thomas, Fred Davis, Malcolm Kelly. Uh, Devin Thomas won a Super Bowl, but Fred, he liked to get high. Shout out Afro Man will be here in my area. So that'd be pretty cool because he got Malcolm Kelly. Bust. The only thing he could do, his rap game, which wasn't even that good, was better than his NFL game. So let's see. Fred Davis had 16 combined touchdowns amongst the three of them. Devin Thomas did have a rushing touchdown. That was terrible. Didn't have a second round pick in 09, 2010. Jarvis Jenkins. Jarvis Jenkins wasn't bad, but he wasn't good either. He was here for a while, but yeah. Jarvis Jenkins, not good. We didn't have one because of RG3. We had David Amerson, not good. Trent Murphy, he was here, but he was okay. Preston Smith, there we go. Here you go. 2015. The guy who really he was a needle mover, which that wasn't a bad draft, the 2015 draft. We got Sheriff, Smith, Crowder, Kyshawn Jarrett if he didn't get hurt. Austin Riders won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. That wasn't a bad draft for us. Let's go to where are we at? Sewell Cravens. Oh Lord, that was a bad 16. Terrible. Ryan Anderson. Band boy just couldn't get right. Darius Geis. Lord, he had so much potential, but he just wasn't right up top. None in 2019. None in 2020. Sam Cosby. He's been okay for us. He's been average. And now we go to Phil Mathis and then Quan Martin, who's had his struggles. Our second round picks have not been good, boys and girls. They have not been. It's been abysmal at best. And that's just saying, that's keeping it nice. Phil Mathis is going to miss his first 2 seasons. After being picked 40, he was the 47th pick in that in last year's draft. Not very good. Not very good. Like Cesar said, 5-11, not very good. Washington in the second round, not very good. Speaking of Steve Spurrier, let's go back a little bit further. During Joe Gibson, we had Rocky McIntosh. Rocky McIntosh, he was a guy. Taylor Jacobs, Lord have mercy. Liddell Betts, that was a good one for us. It was, there you go. Fred Smoot. That's bad. We can count in the last 20-some years on one hand how many effective second round picks that we've had. That is sad. But where was Scott? We just need to trade our second round pick and be just either trade up in the draft or trade back. But hopefully, my gosh, maybe Phil Mathis can get back and get right. It is what it is. What did you say, Roger? Never had a real GM in 26 years and still don't. That's why our draft picks have been garbage and still is. Yeah, I think last year's draft was okay. I think we'll look back on that draft and I think that was the best draft they've had here. You look at the pieces they got. I think you got a good special team in the Holmes. Maybe got a potential good backup guard and Paul. I thought that we should have drafted James Mitchell out of Virginia Tech here. Cole Turner, which I think James got taken before him, but anyway, that was my bias. Percy Butler's been good on special teams. B Rob, our own Luke Cage, young and can ball. They talk about that he's slow, but I mean, he's the power back. He's supposed to be physical. He'll snarf up yards for you. It's the old football term, right? But let's see here. What else we got? We talk about the. I think I'm going to bring this segment every week now, is because our head coach says some of the wildest things, and I don't know why he says what he says, but anyway, Albert Breer for Monday Morning Quarterback was he interviewed Ron Rivera, and he was talking about, it's a long story, so I'm not going to go through all of it. But he talked about it was very like retrospective of Sam Howell, and the topic was quarterbacks and really not quarterbacks. This is the quote. Taylor Heineke. They were going to start Taylor Heineke for the Cowboys game. Taylor was like, "No, you know what? Basically, F this. You guys didn't believe in me to beat Cleveland." And really, I think it came, and the rumor was that if they could have, they would have started Carson Wentz against the Giants. But I don't know if there's something with COVID or something of his turn. And I said this to y'all too when I came back, and Carson Wentz was out there during the TV time, so you didn't see this, but he was out there, and everybody in the game Carson Wentz was out there warming up. Like he was getting ready to go in at every single moment. He would go out there on the side, on the field, like running some boots and throwing the ball and getting warmed up and everything. Like at a moment's notice that he would be able to go, that he would go into that game. Obviously he didn't, but, and I told Paulie this too. I said, Paulie, I'm afraid that we will see Carson Wentz again. And what happened the week, and this was like a week prior to it all happening. The Giants game, the second Giants game, this was about a week before then. I'm like, I just feel like we're going to see him again. And I think it was maybe that bye week. Yeah, because it was at Giants bye week then versus Giants. And that was another thing. We had a bye week to prepare for him, but that's neither here nor there. That's old wounds. We're not going to open those up again. And anyway, so, he has screwed the pooch on Carson Wentz, which, you know what? I like to think of this, and this is like I'm defending Ron. To me, and depending on how Sam Howell goes this season, if it was not for them trading for Carson Wentz, would we have ever gotten Sam Howell? Well, we've gotten Jahan Dotson. We might have we've been all right with Olave or whoever was up there, but we have got him. I don't know. I kind of liken it to the situation. Like I will never forgive Joe Gibbs for trading Champ Bailey away, which their relationship ran its course, but we got fleeced by Mike Shanahan and the Broncos because you give him away an elite corner for a running back whose shelf life is what, 3 to 4 years. You already ran him for 3,000 yards in his first 2 seasons and took a dip in those numbers with you. He didn't have that 1,500 yard season until the year after that. So I'm like, I don't know. But if we don't trade for Champ Bailey, if we don't trade Champ Bailey for Clinton Portis, do you ever get Sean Taylor? Because they were kind of hell bent on Kellen Winslow. So that's something you got to think about. Anyway, back to my point about Ron Rivera. So he said they were driving back home from FedEx Field back to the good old Nova, and it was cold. We might have ran past him there. He said, "You can ask Stephanie. We all effing talked about." All we effing talked about was the quarterback, what the quarterback did, who he was. Rivera said, sitting in his office couch on another steamy August day, I kept saying, F it. If I would have known this, I would have played him sooner. When you only have so much time to show it, it's hard. I kept thinking, God, but after that game, everything told me this kid, give him the opportunity and see what he does with it. I have two thoughts on this, probably three. My first thought is you're supposed to be Riverboat Ron. You made a living on gambling, whether it's on the field or whatever. Why not take a gamble on the kid? We kind of even talked about this. Send him out there. Let him take his lump. See what you got in him. But you know what? He wanted to go back to the old wheelhouse that he really didn't trust in Taylor Heineke. How did that work out for him? Didn't work out too well. My second thing is, what the hell are you watching, Ron Rivera? The fact that he said, when you only have so much time to show it, it's hard. I kept thinking, God, but after the game, everything told me this kid gave. Like, what were you looking at all season long to not even see this guy, just the way the kid carries himself, how he's improving? This is what happens when you don't have when you don't have adult supervision and accountability. Stuff like this happens because Ron Rivera, the head football coach, the football guy who runs all the football operations, which they haven't got the quarterback spot right since he's been here, didn't know what the kid could do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you didn't know. Maybe that's why Scott Turner got fired. And then you force-fed us Carson Wentz. Which I know a lot of people say, they were like, oh, yeah, well, you force-fed. I never forced Carson Wentz on nobody. I said, let's just get behind the guy and support him. That's what, oh, no, Carson Wentz. And they were proven right. I was proven wrong. But it's not, you can't go brash and dive into without thinking, like, hey, let's see how this works out. Cause ain't nothing worked out up to now. And then you admitted you had a second round grade on the dude, but he fell to the 5th round. Ron Rivera sounds like the guys and gals who were like, well, you know what? If this was 2020, I would have drafted Justin Herbert. Shut the hell up. No, you would not have in that moment. You would have drafted Chase Young or Tua. Because that's all anybody was connecting us to. Somebody says that's just bullshit. It is the same thing with Ron Rivera. But now we're in this catch-22 radius where if Ron fails, we all fail. If Sam Howell's successful, Ron gets some of the glory for this. And probably another year. Does he deserve another year? No, I don't think so. But Also, you can see too that you can save a lot of face when you get rid of bad actors. So I'm giving Ron a slight leash on life. You don't have to. Not asking you to. But toxic situations can lead to toxic results. You can be the most positive person in the world. You can snort lines of sunshine and rainbows and lick rainbows and have a horseshoe the size of the equator stuck up your butt and still be toxic if you're working for some noxious folks. So if Ron, if this team goes to the playoffs, which I think this team's gonna make some noise. Paulie says we're gonna win the NFC East. I'm like, I don't know about all that. Just get me to the party. Yeah, but there it is. I don't get it. Booski says Ron wants his cake and ice cream too. He has too many phony moments. Let's see here. Ron Rivera's judgment has not been good. Not only Sam Howell, but he gave Scott Turner a contract extension, which he cut him. He fired him next time around too. Now, let's see. We won't have to worry about a dumb head coach after this year. It's a wrap. One way to be head coach next year, win the Super Bowl. That's not happening. He's going to get fired. You can take it to the bank. Roger, I don't think he gets fired if they win a couple playoff games. If they win a playoff game, I think I would think they would maybe give him a contract extension, maybe 2-year contract extension. And then if it's ran its course at the end of the year. But if we make it to the playoffs and make some noise in the playoffs, I don't think he's getting fired. Here we go. What's up, Deuce? Ron Ron Week at 62. This is my plan all along. I believe we'd be great if we stuck to the process. I really do. While his feet are on the table. Yeah, guys. I was a guy who was reading the effing programs and I was reading the effing analytics and I was the effing guy who decided that, you know what? We needed to put tacos back on the salad bar. Actually, I'm the guy, and we really do. We just had, and they said we had to put fluid packs back into. We had to put them back on the practice field. Fluid packs, fluid. We just working in fluid. Yes, he will. He's done in Washington. Hey, if he's terrible, yeah, he's done. He's out in Washington. He's terrible. If he is, I don't think Josh Harris does not strike me as a guy who makes a brash decision. I think it'll be a year-long evaluation. It'll be how the players respond to stuff. And then I think it'll also be amalgamation of the performance on the field. Now, he might hire a general manager and say, like, Ron, he may make Ron an offer as saying, like, look, you can be the head coach. We bring somebody in here to oversee football operations. You ain't gonna do that. I don't want no damn Jim Harbaugh. I don't want no Harbaugh. I don't want no retreads. If we going back, I don't want a retread. Don't want Jim Harbaugh. Keep his ass in Michigan in the college game. Keep him there. I want a new guy. I want a young, inventive mind and build around him. That's what I want. I don't want no old ass quarterback, no old ass man coming up in here doing this anymore. No. Nobody. Like, give me somebody who's in his late 30s, early 40s. I'm tired of dealing with old retreads. Yeah, I don't want a Sean Payton. I don't want a Jim Harbaugh. Who else? Hell, Hellfire, we must bring Tom Coughlin out of retirement. If that's the case, I'm kidding, Roger, but yeah, I mean, hey, but when people talk about Jim Harbaugh is the same thing that people complain about Eric Bieniemy. His style runs its course. Jim's old enough, man. Jim's old enough. Jim is like damn near 60. Jim Harbaugh has got to be 58. John is what? How old is Jim? Jim's 59. No, I'm good. I don't want no 60. That dude, he'll be 60 2 days before Christmas. On the 23rd, he'll be 60. No. Jim's old enough. Jim is old enough. His style runs its course, though. What you did think it was funny, though, as we get ready to wrap it up here because I'm about to get in trouble because the missus is here. Let's say that's old, man. That's old. He old. He old. He old, bro. He got some treads on that tire, bro. My pops is 65, so I'm like, old boys. You good? You still good for you still good for your age and everything. But I want to be like my top assistant or something like that. I need a young guy to be the face of my organization. Give me somebody. I don't want no more retreads. But hell, Josh Harris hired Doc Rivers after the process. Let's see here. Josh hired him too now. He hired Rivers. Oh, that's Stoner. Look, look, y'all. I see. I'm just making everybody mad. This Corey's just been making people mad all week. I've got these people in a local loving community here in Southwest Virginia that are very upset with me over some comments I made. So they weren't bad comments. They were playful. Like 60's too old. 60's not old. Y'all got love. Y'all got a lot of love to give. I got you. I guarantee, I guarantee if he was here, we would be a playoff team his first year. Hell, if this case, I'm cool being me taking the reins. If we got him if we got in the stable, if it works out. But I just like I said, let's go with the trend of where we're going. Like these younger coaches, the offensive guys who take the play calling. Like if you look at the guys who won Super Bowls over the last couple of years, they are offensive minded head coaches that typically call their own plays. Arians may or may not have called all his plays, and he let Byron Leftwich do a lot of that. But I think he had a lot of his fingerprints on it because him and Tom Moore were working with them in that, and then you had Tom Brady as well. So I mean, recently, and Dougie P from a couple years back in 2017, Bill Belichick, which I don't know, do they even have quarterbacks on the roster? It don't matter. Anyway, so before we wrap up, got one more thing. The Manhattans, they had this song, right? Andy Reid's been there though. It's the grandfather clause, Rogers. It's Andy Reid, no 70 years old. Andy Reid is 65, man. What are you talking about? He's 65. Andy Reid is 65, brother. Come on now. I know you tried to get me though. I appreciate it. You try to get that man 5 extra years. Shoot. Andy Reid is the you see how he look. God, and Andy Reid's been in the league forever. He's been in the league. I think I was this year or next year, I think he's going to be in the league. He's got more playoff wins now than he did when he was in Philadelphia. That's pretty cool. And he's never had a losing season in Kansas City. That's pretty good for him. By far, best coach in the league. Yeah, he is. So anyway, kind of wrap up here. We saw that they had the petition going on to change the name for change the name back to Redskins. I've seen people on Twitter. I've seen the kind of the backlash and whatever. And it's all retrospective now, because I've always been a guy who's been under the impression the name's not coming back. I wear my Redskins stuff. I ain't gonna stop wearing the Redskins stuff. I like how because Josh Harris in a way relates to a fan like me, who I say these are the Redskins, like the then Redskins. These are Washington football teamers. These are Commanders, but they're all under the same umbrella, right? It's like when you remember when the store Hex was open, but Macy's bought them, right? So the legacy of Hex got absorbed by Macy's. Same thing. Hey, that's why I kind of look at it. And you may look at it differently. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But the one thing I never wanted this to become was weaponized. To weaponize our team's name, because to me it meant more than just a weaponization for political fodder. And whether you think the name is offensive or not, okay. But it's the world we live in, unfortunately. Everybody's on pins and needles about it. Jason Wright was interviewed by JP Finley and Brian Mitchell today on 106.7 The Fan. And hey, what's up, Jose? Yes, sir. I hope y'all in trouble, man. I hope so. I need this win. I think since you've been following me, I don't think we've beat y'all. So I need this. I need this. I gotta have this, bro. We're gonna see. So anyway, they asked some questions. They talked about the charge for the name, and that's not being considered. Arkansas State. I think Arkansas State they could get the ownership rights to that. To be honest with you, you don't even need Red Wolves. Just call them the Wolves, Washington Wolves, if you want to. I have a sick logo if it's a wolf anyway, so that's what I want. I already have it. I've saved it. I just got to pull it up and download it. But I have one, and I would love for it to happen. This is and I always tell y'all this. I finally found that that quote I always told y'all about George Jefferson, and he talking about, if I have enough green in my pocket, then black becomes his new favorite color. I think this is very, very parallel to what we kind of say with the name. And this is what I say. If you don't want Commanders or anything. But Jason Wright said it's basically a non-issue. It's not going to get Redskins ain't come back. So it's close the door, Teddy P. It's let's just kiss and say goodbye to Manhattans. That's what it is. And unfortunately, let's see here. It sucks. I get it. It ain't coming back. I hate that it's not coming back, but that's what it should be. Look, I told Roger, it's like I told you, and I'm gonna play this clip here in a minute. Play this sound clip. Once it comes back on Thursday. I don't care. I'm so exhausted about worrying about everything that's off the field with this team. Do you not proverbial? Do you not get sick and tired of talking about stuff that's not on the damn field? That's not winning ball games. Like on Sundays. Like, do we have Stockholm syndrome? Here we go. Here we go. This is what I'm saying. On the name Commanders. And if I can play it. If it'll let me play it. It won't let me play it. Okay, never mind. Here it is. Here's George.
That bartender's willing to work for me because if you got enough green in your pocket, then black becomes his favorite color.
So, what George is saying, right? If he's got enough green in your pocket, then black becomes his new favorite color. If the Commanders win, well, the name is not great, but if the Commanders put together wins, then Commanders becomes my new favorite name. It don't matter. It does not matter. You know, I think Jason Wright probably don't want to see the Commanders change. And it may not. They may not say it's not worth it. Chasing the stadium, trying to build a winner, trying to rebuild community relations. And would that help with the community relations? Maybe it might. But you're never going to recapture. You're not going to recapture the love of Redskins. You just aren't. Like I said, I wear my stuff. I still wear my stuff today. I wear it proudly. Hell, I might wear something tomorrow to work. But that's where, hey, man, that's where we kind of wrap up for tonight. I appreciate y'all dropping in. Like I said, this is going to be the new time for Warpath Wednesday. It's going to be 9 o'clock on Wednesdays. Y'all come and pull up, hang out. Let's see. Hey, look. Yeah, I had a feel-good moment today. Chris Caddy had a top 5 list, worst ran franchise in the NFL, and we weren't on the list. Made me feel hey, that's what it's about, Roger. Like Cokehead, Ursay, the Bidwells, they look terrible. Kyle Shanahan, here, I'll give you one nugget right here. So we talk about this. What's up, big dog? What's up? Football season? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll give y'all one thing. I want y'all to think about this. What young quarterback has Kyle Shanahan ever developed? I just want y'all to think about that. I want y'all to think about that. With the trade of Trey Lance and whatever, I wasn't a big Trey Lance fan coming out anyway. But I want y'all to think about that. How? You can't really say Matt Schaub because Matt Schaub had shown it. Now, he's helped these guys get to top levels. Maybe Jimmy G? He wasn't really young, though. He was just the lady in waiting, and then they traded him. Matt Ryan was already a Pro Bowl caliber player. I've been reading something about that, too. Well, maybe the Jets. Maybe then they'll trade Aaron Rodgers. They have to trade Aaron Rodgers to San Francisco. I mean, Brock Purdy's his chance right here. But they gave up on the young man. Hey, I ain't talking about your 49ers now. I'm talking about Kyle Shanahan because I got access to ground with Kyle Shanahan. And I'm telling you, y'all will start to see the kinks in his armor if Brock Purdy doesn't take the next step. And he'll be howling trying to get another quarterback. A la Kirk Cousins. But y'all just think about that. Y'all think on that. That's not hate. It's just observation. But yeah, Warpath Wednesday here every Wednesday, 9 o'clock. Unless foretold, catch me on Twitter, Sanchez 405. I love y'all, guys. I appreciate you. Everything y'all doing to help this channel grow as we get ready. We trying to get to 4,000 by the end of the season. So make sure you like, subscribe, share this video out with your people on your social media platforms and get them in here and, you know, be a big old family. And I'll take y'all on the road with me come week 1 at FedEx Field. But till next time, Sanchez 405, we keep that. How we do it, Roger? We keep that same damn energy. We outlast them bad. Glock Purdy. Old sugar. Nation. That's right. Outlast the bastards together. We keep that same damn energy. Till next time, I'm saying y'all 405. Love, peace, and somebody please get my damn theme music.